There's a way that the living entities there eat, speak, talk. Jiva Goswami. No, the Brahma Samhita says that every step is a dance and every word is a song. So Jiva Goswami says, if every step is a dance and every word is a song, what to speak when they actually dance and they actually sing? So there is an eternal culture. And that's Krishna culture. Vrindavan, 76. Bhakti means there is activity. Anukulina, favorably. Krishna Anushilanam, to satisfy Krishna. Anushilanam means culture. The culture means there is activity. Okay, so this is technical. In terms of bhakti, this Anushilanam, this cultivation of devotion and devotional service, Srila Prabhupada defines as culture, in the sense of cultivation, which includes activities. Bombay, my request, especially to the Indians, that do not neglect your culture, the Vedic culture. Vedic culture means Krishna consciousness. There is no other different meaning of Vedic culture. Okay, so we are going to explore. Any questions so far? Everything is clear? Three-level model. Different models, but this is considered. This is a scholar at this kind who developed this model. And we're going to start a little bit. Again, on top there is the visible, what we call artifacts. Artifacts in terms of behavior, in terms of visible, the dress style and artistic styles. Underlying those, there are values. And underlying those, there are assumptions. So you can see culture. Okay, they build churches. They build church. And they build a church. Why they build church? Because there are certain values. They believe in Jesus Christ, they believe in God, so they make a place of worship. Delhi, when the builders of Delhi, Srila Prabhupada said in a letter to Gopal Krishna Maharaj, the builders of Delhi, the New Delhi, they did not include basically temples. When they designed New Delhi, they did not include temples. So what value is there? Secular. Secular. Secular values. And the secular values are supported, come out of certain assumptions. The assumption being that religion and state life, government life are incompatible. Religion is something, and the government is something else. Maybe if you want to be secular, like Prabhupada said many times, if you want to be secular, maybe don't just build Hindu temples, okay? But they could have built a Hindu temple, a mosque, a church, whatever, they could have done that. But instead, no temples. So anything we see, there are these three levels, basically. And from our, from philosophical perspective, you could say that the top level is the level of the senses. The visible, the tangible, the perceptible. The second level is the level of the, I would say, we could say the level of the subtle body, basically. The mind, emotions, mind, intelligence. And then the underline is the, I would say, the vasanas, samskaras, even deeper level of the kind of the karma shaya, the tank of impressions, really the deep moods of the soul, of the conditioned soul. Okay, different pictures, the same concept but different pictures. So this is the icebreakers analogy. Physical artifacts, they stick out of the water. You can see them. Underneath there are intangible activities and routines. Then underneath again underlying values, assumptions, beliefs and expectations. This is the water lily analogy. What you see out of the water are the behaviors, the norms, the artifacts, etc. Like these water lilies. But then there are some roots, or at least this, what do you call, stems? Values. What's important? Because according to what's important, then you see what's happening. And underneath, at the root, there are assumptions and different philosophies. This is the apple analogy. At the core, like the DNA, the seed, the beach, is a fundamental assumptions. Then become values, behavioral norms, pattern of behavior, artifacts, and symbols. So this is like summary. Behavior, norms, artifact. Why? Why there are those behavior, norms, and artifacts? There are behaviors, people act in a certain way, do certain things. We can start thinking about our temples. Even our temples, same ISKCON banner, same philosophy, same Srila Prabhupada, same books. But behaviors are a little different. They're a little different. Even in ISKCON temple, you go to the temple, you see a certain atmosphere, certain interactions. In other temples, a different interaction. There are certain norms. What's important? What's important is manifested as norms and artifacts. Even the style of you can see the way it's kept, the place. It's painted or not painted. Many things. So why this thing? Because there are certain values. What's important? So this what's important accounts for this. And who decides? What decided what's important? Why? Because there are assumptions, there are philosophies. Why we have temples that have Bhakti Shastri and they take it very seriously, and why we have temples that don't have Bhakti Shastri? And maybe they don't even plan to have Bhakti Shastris. You see? Bhakti Shastri, you can take it here. Course, Bhakti Shastri. Why? Some leaders think it's important. It's important to study the Gita. It's important to study Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Shrீ's Upanishad. It's important. And why? Because they think philosophy is that, social philosophies, the books are the basis. Srila Prabhupada's association is in those books. We should follow the instruction of the spiritual master, of the founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada spoke so much about these titles. He was speaking about Bhakti Shastri even before leaving India. Even when he established this League of Devotees in Jhansi, still in those time he was having Bhakti Shastri. And again, assumptions. Education is the best investment. Shravanam, Kirtanam is the best investment. So from this assumption, from this philosophy of practicing Krishna consciousness, account for what's important. So one temple will say, Bhakti Shastra is important. And one temple will not even say Bhakti Shastra is not important, because it's just not important. It's not even as important to argue against. Okay? Bhakti Shastra is one. We could find probably hundreds. Okay, the last of these illustrations. Artifacts defined as visible organizational structures and processes. Hard to decipher. Hard to decipher means if you don't know the background, it's hard to understand what's going on. It's like you go to to a mosque. What people do, the namaz or this, the muezzin or the minar, and this shape of why the shape of the mosque, why this language. You follow? Why they are here and they speak Arabic. I mean, it's hard to decipher. Okay, if you don't know. Of course, if you know the history, if you know the philosophy, then it's easy. But externally, it's hard. Emos. You have emos in India? Emos? You have emos? It's a youth group. They'll come. Anyway, it's a groups that they like some particular style of sad music. Emo means come from emotions. And somehow they contemplate these sad emotions of depression and hopelessness, and they dress in a particular way. They have special hairdos. So when you see them, it's hard to understand why. But then there is a philosophy. Not a great philosophy, but some theory, something. Okay. Then there is exposed values. Yeah, exposed values as things that the organization show. Yeah, this is our mission statement. This is our vision. These are our rules. These are our bylaws. This is our constitution. Okay, exposed values, strategies, goals, philosophies, exposed justifications. But again, underneath there are basic underlying assumptions, unconscious, taken for granted beliefs. Perceptions, thoughts, and feelings, the ultimate source of values and action. So there are progressively deeper yet more powerful aspects of culture. This is the ISKCON's model. We study some of these scholars because they observe, they spend their life observing certain things, and they, what do you call it? They discern certain patterns. So if these patterns work for you, if you see, in other words, if you think this is relevant, we can use it. Just like yesterday we saw this Professor Stark. His model is talking about. It's not talking about it's not a moral judgment of what is the best religion. It didn't see that point was not what is the best religion. Is that what are the behaviors of religions that grow and they are successful, independently from the value, from the validity of the religion. So here we are just talking about culture, independently from the value or the absolute value of a particular culture. And every culture will see these three. So there is a very strong statement here he makes. The only thing of real importance the leaders do is to create and manage culture. If you do not manage culture, it manages you. And you may not even be aware of the extent to which this is happening. So he defines leadership, the fundamental function of a leader. Create and manage culture. Generate, nurture, cultivate, establish culture at those three levels. Shape the assumptions, shape the philosophy, shape the understanding, shape the ideas, and shape the behaviors. Less than that, we may be managers, but we're not leaders. Managers are given a system, they're given a structure, they're given a set of activities, and they run the thing. Okay? Nothing wrong with managers. We need managers. Some people are both leaders and managers. Some people are just leaders. So because this